What is up, everybody? I'm No Lux Given, and today we're going to take a look at my games from day one of the Marvel Snap Clash Invitational Tournament. This was a ton of fun, and if you want to watch the top 8 of this event, it will be live today if you're watching this video on Sunday, and that'll be at 3 p.m. EST. But first, let's take a look at how I got into the top 8. And we'll see what we can do here. Alright, so cards that cost 1 can't get played there. Wasn't really going to do that anyways, because I do not have any 1-cost cards in the deck, so let's just drop Daredevil into the Shadowland. Daredevil, I think, is a really good in duels, which is a big part of what this deck is built around here. So with a hidden location, that definitely makes things kind of interesting. Because you can't really Professor X with the hidden location, but we could do like Armor and a Tuma. Those would be pretty sneaky things. Here we could go Wolverine, though that doesn't set up for Galactus next turn. We could go a Tuma to set up for Professor X. We could go Spider-Man to set up for Professor X in some capacity as well. I think we want to play a Tuma and try to win the Dark Dimension, and then we want to try to Professor X probably the Shadowland or something else if my opponent will give it to us. Maybe we just Spider-Man on the final turn if we need a little bit more help in that regard. So they're going to grab a Thor. And now we're going to hope that they don't play to the Hellfire Club, though that seems a little bit unlikely. And then we would finish the game off by dropping some cards into the Dark Dimension. That's the plan. What's cool here is you get to see even if your opponent plays into the Dark Dimension, you get to see what their play is. So they only played a 2-cost card right here, and I'm just realizing that we don't have the Marvel Snap overlay on screen from untap.gg. So I don't know why that didn't pop up, but I am going to load that up right now, despite being halfway through this game. I think that Professor is probably the way to go. And I think that we probably snap here. We're just going to try to lose in the Shadowland. We'll see if this causes my opponent to retreat or not. They might just hang out and continue to play for the cubes. Or not for the cubes, for the information. It's important to get information early on in the game. So looks like they are going to stick at it, which means we win the Hellfire Club, and we're winning by a pretty considerable amount right now in the Dark Dimension. Now, my opponent does have first flip, but we already have a lot of power here, so we're probably up by 10 right now, and that means that we should just be able to secure the victory. Like I said, Cosmo's not really going to be doing anything in this location, so we want to give my opponent the least amount of information as possible. And that's probably just Spider-Man Wolverine, and keep Cosmo a little bit of a secret. So that's what I'm going to go for. We're playing it out here, and they do have a Lockjaw deck, so they are, this is going to have a lot of randomness on the final turn. And they hit the Infinite. No! Alright, well, they hit some good cards there. I don't know how they hit America Chavez. How did they hit Chavez? Alright, well, that's weird, but I guess I should have conceded as soon as they flipped the Infinite to not give them any more information. But unfortunately, we do take a round 1 defeat, and we'll jump into it back for the next game. I thought they played a 2-cost card into the Dark Dimension, because they played Lockjaw, Thor. They played Lockjaw, Thor, Jubilee, and then Lady Thor. So I'm definitely missing some things. Maybe it's the nerves right now. Project Pegasus, obviously a pretty good location for them. But we will just run out Hobgoblin, I suppose. Could also play all 3 of these, make use of all of our energy here, but I'll just play out the Hobgoblin into Vision, so we're winning. Pretty stock list here from Guest. Okay, that's cool. We can Wolverine into this location. They can Jubilee. But we could also armor there on the final turn. They can also move Vision over into there. So I guess they will have the better of us, ultimately. Yeah, that does get us there. Which could be good. That could be good because we could Galactus into this location. Could also Galactus over onto the Project Pegasus, though, which I feel is probably better. We're down by 1. If we Galactus here, we'll be down by 1, and then we could flip it again with armor. So we'd need to hit some ramp regardless. I think I'm going to do this. Double Dark Dimension games is definitely interesting. So now we could wave. And I suppose we always just wave in Death's Domain, whether we want to play Galactus here or here. So this gives us the option. My opponent does have a big deck to make use of wave. But this allows me to go turn 5 Galactus into Death's Domain. And then if we dodge the Jubilee, then we play Armor Daredevil on the final turn. Okay, and we dodge the Jubilee now because they've played it. That gives them their Lockjaw. They are also kind of congested at this location. 3 characters there already. And they're down by 5. They can't really make use of their final 2 turns because Lockjaw is going to flip their cards out. So I think we snap going into turn 5, as the Daredevil deck likes to do. They'll probably retreat here to a Galactus. Though maybe they stay in it because Lockjaw has some randomness. Problem is we can't really beat anything coming out of the Lockjaw. We know they didn't have any big stuff in their opening hand, though, because they played Vision. So maybe we do just play Galactus here. Alright, I talked myself into it. So now we are down by 1 in Death's Domain as the only location. My opponent doesn't have Jubilee, and they have first play. So they're going to have to play something, and then we get to play Armor for the final play of the game. I think this is a pretty telegraphed win, but it's a win nonetheless. So I think that should be good enough for my opponent to retreat. Okay, 2 cubes back. Getting back into it, slowly but surely. We have revealed the Galactus, though. So that's definitely interesting. But we're only down 2 cubes now. into round 3. All right, we've got the Daredevil, the Wave, and the G-Man. It's going to be hard to win Asgard. Tillon is also a little bit annoying. Well, let's start by playing Daredevil into Asgard, as we like to do. What's up, Dave? Thanks for joining us here. Okay, Warrior Falls we could lock up with a Professor. Though it's all just going to be random here. I mean, I think we have to wave into Asgard and then just see what we draw. We do have more tools than my opponent for the Warrior Falls, though, so that's nice. And Wave makes them somewhat tempted to play into Asgard, though if they play the Lockjaw this turn, they're not going to be able to make use of the Wave. So this is good. We will have to wait when you wave before an Attilon turn. This is what happens. Cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully I will not be in and out because this game is best of one single elimination. So it all depends on how these next few cubes fall. So we could fall right now, and I don't know why the untap tracker is not working. Let me see if I can get that to show up. I just can't. I don't know why. Just not working for us. So, there's a temptation to play Galactus. Warrior Falls seems a little bit sketchy to me. I think that they also might just next level us, though, by playing a big card into Attilon. They just drew 3 cards. I don't know. I'm not super confident about this game. Okay, well, they didn't go for it. That lets them play another card into Lockjaw. It also allows them to win Asgard, and they grab the Infinite. So I guess we'll see what they do this turn. They're probably just going to play their zeros into Lockjaw. Might just go for Galactus for lack of a better play here. Really don't have anything great to do. My opponent has let me control all of the snaps so far. They have not snapped once. All right, let's take a look. They are going to play Jane here to deal with Electro, and then they're going to play the Wasp there. So if we play Galactus, it's just a 1v1 where they cannot play the Infinite. Wow, and they're going to snap. I mean, they did draw a bunch of cards, so they've got a bunch of options. But what's weird is they're not really making use of them here. I would need to draw Armor or Destroyer to really have a good play, is the only awkward part. I think I'm going to retreat for 1 cube. I just didn't like what happened for us this game. I think the deck can do more powerful things. It can draw the cards in slightly better orders here. And I'm just never super comfortable with Attilon. If we had had the Daredevil for turn 4 to see that my opponent was going to play into Asgard, then I think I would have had a better sequence, but this is how things fell out. So we're down to 5 cubes. We're down by 3. Probably don't want to play into the Monster Metropolis. So maybe let's drop armor here. If we can actually get Cosmo to do some work this game, that could be really good. Try to guess where my opponent's going to put the Thor. They snap turn 1. I'm confident enough about this hand so far that I'm going to stick with it. Okay, so I think I will try to catch their Thor with Cosmo here. Also tempted to go Electro into Professor X now with that draw. And then battle for Monster Metropolis, likely. Alright, they played Lockjaw into the Metropolis, always with the turn 3 Lockjaw. And double Baxter building does make things a little bit silly on this one. But we get to win one of the Baxter buildings here. So I think we should go for it. I think they probably will Jubilee into the Metropolis if they have it. No, looks like they've got Nightcrawler plus Thor. Ooh, that gives them the Wasp. This is really good for us. We've now won the Baxter building, and we are winning in the Metropolis. So I'm going to give it a snap here, and I think this will cause a retreat for my opponent. But if not, we have Spider-Man, and then we finish the game off with a Tuma. So this should be good enough here. Let's see what they get into the Metropolis. Could be something big. Jubilee in the Baxter building. That gives them Nightcrawler, and then Mjolnir to pump up the Thor. But this is the moment of truth here. No Infinite, no Infinite. Dracula. Okay. Well, Dracula is definitely big. Baxter building is haunting our nightmares right now by continually making noises, but Destroyer is just huge. Destroyer, I think, means so they could have an additional 23 power here, but we could have an additional 15. So this is great. This means that we beat even them discarding Infinite. So I don't see how we lose. So let's roll with it, baby. Surprise, Destroyer. Wait, do we lose to Infinite? Oh, we do lose to Infinite, but it wasn't Infinite. Whew! Finally, a cube lead with the Surprise Destroyer. That felt good. That felt good. My opponent with 3 cubes left from the round 4 victory, and now we are going into high stakes mode. Whoo, baby. Whoo, baby. Plunder Castle. Quite a good location for us if we can draw the Galactus and the Destroyer. But this is looking good so far. We're going to drop the Wolverine here. I believe both myself and my opponent are playing Wave. Okay, Nightcrawler gives my opponent some options here. We're probably just going to play Electro this turn. Monster Island. Alright, we're going to play Electro. Hobgoblin is good in getting to fill up some space in case we see a Lockjaw from Guest here. Right now it's all about win rate. They are going to play Thor, actually, not the Lockjaw. So we now have to decide where this Goblin is going. And if we draw Galactus, that's a pretty huge game as well. Oh, or we could Professor here. Okay. Professor's a pretty big one. I mean, you always Professor into the Monster Island. The problem is they have priority still, astoundingly. So, like Jubilee, they would play a Jubilee into Monster Island, at which point Professor maybe just loses the location, but Hobgoblin wins. Daredevil really strong in this scenario, too. We could Daredevil plus Armor to give ourselves a lot more info. Maybe that's better. Oh, I can't do that. We've got Electro. Let's play Professor. Hope that it's good enough. They played 2 cards there, Dracula and Mjolnir. So we did lock out one of their locations. Probably could have gone for the Hobgoblin instead. But now I have to draw a 6-drop. And I draw the Galactus, which is good. But it also means that I'm banking on the 1 in 4 to hit Destroyer here. But I think I still go for it. Plunder Castle, a really good location for Galactus. We're going to ignore all of this stuff going on right here. Destroy their Destroyer, destroy everything else. And I think maybe we could snap Bluff. But if we draw Destroyer, then it's not a bluff. And I guess there's no harm in snapping regardless. Oh, that's right. The game is going to double these cubes at the end of the game. No matter what here. So we are going to get the retreat. Nice. I was thinking they could retreat. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they could have had there. I mean, we die to America Chavez, which we know that they're playing. So I wasn't going to hit the end turn button there expecting to win. But now we just have to win 1 out of the next 4 games. This seems really, really like a great place to be. And we've got the Wolverine to kick things off here. I guess we throw Wolvie into the mini lab. Though there's also some desire to battle for these other locations. I think we're just going to throw that into the mini lab to kick things off here. Eternity Range is awkward because we can never play Galactus there. Unless my opponent totally whiffs. But we can go Armor plus Atuma. And I think that we have to do that here under the impression that my opponent is likely going to play Jubilee, or not Jubilee, Lockjaw right now into Eternity Range. But we get to go Armor, Atuma, Professor, Destroyer. A pretty reasonable curve. Ooh, they're taking a rock. They are taking a rock. So they go Lockjaw plus Wasp. And that gives them Thor. But it also gives them a rock. I'm not going to ramp. I'm also not going to Spider-Man just yet. We're just going to play Atuma. And I think I am good with this. Yes, I know Professor X stops Jubilee. It just, we've never had priority. This time, we do have priority. Professor X could also stop Lockjaw. However, I think that just Professor X into the location that we're already winning is probably our winningest play. And then we Destroyer probably mid. And just hope that's enough. What I'd love to do here is like Destroyer into the mini lab or something like that. Could also Wave plus Daredevil, which means they only get to play 1 card next turn. Though that's not true if they have She-Hulk. Let's just Professor X into the Eternity Range and see where this gets us. They're going to Wasp away over in Lockjaw and then probably redraw it. No, Vision. Okay, well that's actually really good to lock a Vision into the Eternity Range. And then I think we just play Destroyer. We either have 19 power here or we have 15, but that's still going to beat a single card play from my opponent. They spent 5 energy last turn, so they probably can't play She-Hulk, and I think this might be it. Let's see. Let's see how it all shakes out. GG's to It's Guest Gaming, regardless of how this one shakes out here. Definitely got a little bit nervous on some of these aspects, but now I'm feeling confident. Even if we lose this one, we would also have to lose the next 3 games. Or next 2 games. But I think we can do it. There's nothing they can do. They can't retreat to save cubes or anything like that. Sorry, friend. Let's give them the fist bump. I think the writing is on the wall here. Destroyer for the win. Wolfie, where are you going? Wolfie comes back to us. That's great. And my opponent has the Jubilee, so this could be good. It's Mjolnir. It's Mjolnir. Ah. Wow, they actually had a shot there if they hit the Infinite off the Jubilee. So I wanted to break down the structure of this event just in case you weren't aware and you might be interested in it. So that first game was super important. That first game was single elimination, winner take all, and if I won that first game, which I did, now I make it on to the top 8 of the tournament. The tournament was only 16 players, so half of us were going to make it. First round was single elimination. This second round will be for standing. So we're still going to play it. We're still going to try our best to win. And if we win, then on Sunday, today, we will play somebody else that went 1-1. Whereas if we lose, then we will have to play somebody else that went 2-0 on the first day. So that's basically it. We're just playing to figure out if we're going to play, like what caliber of player and how difficult the bracket is going to be for Sunday's top 8. And then that's just going to be a single elimination bracket. Pretty straightforward. All best of 1 games, I'm pretty sure. And you just have to not lose ever. So we'll see how far we can go with that. Should be fun. Definitely had fun with this first part of the tournament here. And I'll let you guys finish watching that now. Round 2. Let's give it another shot here and see what we can make happen. Okay, we're in it. Nice. And we've drawn Sarah, Ironheart, and Angela. Angela's a good draw off the top of the deck. And we just want to draw Mr. Negative or Magic. Okay, there's Magic. On turn 5, we're going to play to the compound. Just going to take a little bit of time for this first turn just to make sure that everything is sorted there on coverage. Hit them up with the hello. And I'm pretty sure we just always Angela into the compound here. But this is a pretty nice sequence of draws for us altogether. In that Iron Man is still in the deck. That's one of the most important things while playing this deck. Lizard into the Monster Island. A little bit sketchy, though. I guess we have to play into Avengers Compound as well, so they probably don't want to do that. And last location is Strange Academy. So let's drop this. And I think we can snap here before my opponent really knows too much about what's going on. This is like an ideal sequence of draws. As long as we don't draw exactly Iron Man next turn, I think that we're in a good spot. We'll either play Mr. Negative into the compound or Monster Island, because what you don't want to do is have the Mr. Negative get played here and then still drift over to Angela and not work for her. Not give her that +2. So we're playing for 2. My opponent's got the turn 3 Sauron, though. So they've got some options. But I think that we are in a good spot with this Mr. Negative. They're going to play their Shuri into a really big monster. And I guess they're going to hope that Shuri lands into the Monster Island, so that way... No, either way, they can't really make a great use of Arnim Zola here. Strange Academy really affecting their ability to Arnim Zola. Apologies that this is a little bit on the slow side here. But we draw the flipped Iron Man, which is fantastic. So now we just magic and then continue to draw, and we'll be able to play a 4-cuber. Ebony Maw. Big Ebony Maw, and then a zeroed out Viper. Okay, cool. Let's play another turn, why don't we? And Shuri is now going to clog one of my opponent's 2 locations, and that's going to give us a lot of info in terms of how we can proceed to win that lane, and then we'll probably be able to win the Strange Academy as well. So, plan is to push for a win into Limbo. What's awkward, some of these Jubilee hits are a little bit weird for us. I could wait till next turn, see what we draw, and then we'll have a little bit more info on what this Jubilee is going to do. But if we put Iron Man here, we win this location. So it's probably worth Iron Manning there. We could also go Iron Man, then Jubilee. And then if we hit the Mystique off of that... No, I want to hang on to Jubilee, I think. It only costs us 1. So it's never actually going to hurt us to hang on to it here, I don't think. Oh, Leech! Drat. Okay. Leech does indeed hurt us to hang on to it here. That is unfortunate. So now we've got to, like... Oh, I don't think this is worth 4 cubes. Ah, man. Ah, we were doing so good. So we could do this. This. Is this worth 4 cubes? That was a brutal, brutal leech. Let's see how many cards my opponent has in hand. 3. Leech is really strong against this deck. It's really just a 50-50 of where they decide to put their 15 power guy. But I don't think I can afford to stay in this. For a 50-50, 4 cubes? Do we even beat it here? No, we don't even beat it in Monster Island, so... let's just retreat. Unfortunate, but now we've got it right here. And we're not going to forget it. Yeah, this is a good deck with Leech in here as well. Man, because that should have been the one that we won. We had a really, really good curve with that. Alright, Vibranium Mines. Not super excited for that location. Not particularly hype on Vormir either. We can put Ironheart there later on, or we can just magic the location. Probably just want to magic it, huh? So let's just throw Mojo here. Oop, they're breaking into it with a Viper already. I think I'll still plan on magicking it, though. Ooh, that's really good. Now, this deck often plays armor. but we haven't seen them play armor yet. What's awkward is we don't have anything else to do this turn other than just play Ironheart. So I guess we'll break into Vormir with Ironheart. Not super excited by it, but this also allows us to beat armor with Mojo, if that is something they're playing. Oh, and then Arnim Zola can also allow them to grab a win in Death's Domain. They've got the turn 3 Sauron. Pretty solid. So they're probably going to play a bunch of stuff here. Let's just play the Punisher. And then we're going to try to go Magic into Serra. And when I say try, that's because my opponent has the Leech. We could also just go Serra and then next turn play Iron Man Mystique, hoping to win Death's Domain over Arnim Zola. I think this just gives me more options. So I think their plan is to play something big here right now, and then Arnim Zola to the other 2 locations. We could maybe even just beat that, though, with Iron Man plus Mystique. Alright, there's the big Typhoid Mary. And there's the Ebony Maul. So this does look like an Arnim Zola play. They're going to get to 32, but we're going to get to 1836. No, it's a little bit more than that. It's 10. We're going to get to 40. So we do lose in this scenario. 32. We double 10 up to 20, then 20 up to 40. This is quite clearly... Oh, I guess this Ebony Maw is... So they have to have Arnim Zola? The Ebony Maw is zeroed out. It's Sarand. So they might not actually be going for that here. They probably would. But let's make them have it, I suppose. Oh, Vibranium! Vibranium! Wow! That is a huge win with the Vibranium. Did not think about that. And because they played the Vibranium, so they drew Vibranium this turn. Dang! Oh wow, we actually won! I wasn't thinking about the fact that I wasn't thinking about the fact that they no longer had 32 power here. Wow, okay. That was a really, really crazy game. That Vibranium play was sick to allow them to tie in the Death's Domain. But we won off differential by 3. A super, super close one against Super Tech God there. We've got a much better view of their deck, and it would be funny to know how much of our deck we've revealed to them. Probably most of it at this point. All right, we grab a Moon Girl from the hub. I'm not sure that that's super powerful for us, especially with the fact that we're going to be reshuffling our whole hand here. But hopefully we can find Mr. Negative off this reshuffle. And hopefully they don't have the Sauron. I'll play Ironheart into Mojo World. That seems fine. And it looks like they do have the Sauron on turn 3. Every time, every time. Okay. Well, these draws are terrible. I guess I'm going to Moon Girl. I'll just Moon Girl into Mojo World here. Next turn, we potentially do some magic stuff. That is not a real Ebony Maw. That is an Ebony Maw that they are still going to be able to make use of. And then I will just magic, though. I don't love my chances on this one. Ooh. Okay, didn't need to magic potentially, but I keep both of my Iron Men. That's really funny. Okay. Probably wind up... Oh, that was their Dr. Octopus that they got for free. Well, we actually get to make good use of the Moon Girl here, so I guess that's nice. The fact that we had a bunch of cards that we were then able to dump into the Dr. Octopus location. They probably win in Limbo pretty easily from here. So we probably just have to retreat to that snap. We could draw Angela or Mystique and be able to play that next turn. They've got to make one more play into this Limbo. We can win this Limbo, but this Limbo we can barely even win. Or this Mojo World we can barely even win. So the only play would be Iron Man here, and then next turn go Angela plus Iron Man into Mojo World, giving us 6, giving us 12 at this location. I think that's a good snap. Let's retreat. Dr. Octopus, my opponent, is doing really well at making use of the generated cards with both the Vibranium, which I did not even cross my mind. Grab the Vibranium and then win Death's Domain with it, or tie Death's Domain. I'm glad we had that +2 power on Mojo. Dream Dimension, kind of a nasty location for us because we can't play Sarah or Magic. Though also kind of a nasty location for my opponent. Hopefully, they have not yet shown us the 15 power guy, but I assume that's in their deck. We'll play Bishop into Mr. Negative. Ongoing effects there are doubled, and my opponent is going to snap. You're snapping into Onslaught Citadel? That's a me location. I'm going to play it for one more cube. Just go Bishop here. All right, that is a real Ebony Maw. Oh, and they give us the Ebony Maw. Okay, that is what Viper is doing in the deck. Cool, 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 cool. All right, that's fun. Let's Mr. Negative. We can still win in the Citadel. It's just going to be tricky because we cannot utilize the Dream Dimension. Or wait, we cannot utilize that much of our deck because of Dream Dimension is what I'd meant to say. Actually could play Magic here, but that makes us lose the Citadel. So that seems kind of terrible. We probably just Jubilee this turn. I don't know. Maybe we do have to take out the Citadel. They probably just flip the Dream Dimension this turn, though. They're actually going to need a decent amount of power in the Dream Dimension because we've got a Bishop there, which is going to keep growing. Yeah, so Typhoid Mary. I don't think we can ever play enough cards that our Bishop is able to flip that location, though we do have Ironheart. So 1, 2, we can bring it to 14 if we play a whole bunch more cards. Yeah, not super likely. So next turn we draw Mystique or Iron Man. We're hoping to draw Iron Man and then Angela into the Mystique. Or Jubilee into the Mystique, rather. And we do have to remember that Leech is probably just coming here. So maybe that means, Rookbook, thank you very much for the follow. Maybe that means we are just done. Yeah, we probably just can't beat that. I think that we probably should have conceded. No point to concede at this point, but I guess we'll do it like this. So next turn we're hoping for Iron Man off the top, and then we can Jubilee the Mystique. But they didn't have Leech. Yeah, we drew the Mystique, which now means we can try to just Jubilee into the Iron Man for the 50-50, which actually does win this location, right? We'd go up to, we're adding 6, we're adding 8, 14, 14 times 2, 28. And then, oops, I have to reorder that. So that Mystique copies Punisher. I think this is a reasonable 50-50, actually. Alright, let's try it. We're having fun here. Playing a Mr. Negative deck. Ooh, they played She-Hulk. Does that put us out of range? It might. Although She-Hulk only adds 8. Or 9 because of Typhoid Mary. Iron Man? Iron Man? Nice, is that enough? 10, 15, 30. That's enough, baby. Oh, and we shrink their lizard, too. Nice. Whew, close one, close one. Always play the 50-50. Whew, baby. Thumbs up there from Super Tech God. Yeah, that was really close. That was really close. But now, going into sudden death mode, or high stakes mode, we are up 4 cubes. Not 4. It's 4 minus 1. 3. What is 4 minus 1? Legitimately, could not remember. I could not remember the name or the shape of the number 3. Here it is, right here. My brain was overloaded and could not think about that. Now, Plunder Castle, terrible for us. Machine World, not great. So, I don't love these locations, though. My opponent also has somewhat of a tricky time playing into Plunder Castle, and they are hiding their Arnim Zola from us, though maybe Los Diablos will clear the air for us a little bit. Let's just continue to play there. No Psylocke or Zabu in this list. We're just playing some bigger stuff. Nice. Okay, we take out the castle, which, I don't know. I don't even know if that's good for us. The fact that we're running no 6-drops probably means that that's good for us. Yeah, no, that's got to be great for us. Yeah, not running any Psylocke in this build of the deck. My opponent had the turn 3 Sauron again. They're pretty disincentivized to play to this location, but they're also somewhat incentivized to, so that way they keep Arnim Zola open as an option. We dump our hand. Are they giving us an Ebony Maul? They're giving us a 0 and a Viper. Okay. That's fine. These are cheap cards, and we can maybe drop them out with Serra in the late game. I might actually want to turn off Machine World, because now I think they're going to try to junk my hand up. Magic's kind of a freebie. I think they're going to play to Machine World again here. They do not have a super impressive draw. They'd need to have hit a Shuri right now. So is this Red Skull? No, this is Leech. Okay. Actually not the hugest of deals. Believe it or not. We didn't really have anything good yet. So the fact that we cannot Mystique the Iron Man is, of course, a little bit lame. But I'm probably just going to try to curve out here. Honestly, I feel like it might just look like this. Yeah, this is not a super high-powered game here, just planning on playing Viper and Iron Man to finish this game out, but thank you to my opponent for giving us the options. Is Infinite their final card? No way. No way Infinite is their final card. There's just no way. No, they're playing She-Hulk plus Red Skull here. Okay. Which means we just have to beat the She-Hulk in one of the two locations, or the Red Skull. If we tie here, they play She-Hulk here. We actually want to catch the Red Skull. A loss for the full Monty is big. If they just played a here and here, that's actually a pretty good getcha too. And I guess I'm somewhat incentivized to play here, so maybe they will play around it. I think they could play Red Skull in the open location. If we had 3 here, we go up to 12, we go up to 14. We beat She-Hulk there, and we beat She-Hulk here. So they'll play Red Skull into the ruins, and then we'll beat She-Hulk in either of these two locations. Okay, we're out of time. Let's see what happens. Is it She-Hulk in the open location? 20 versus 16. Shuri. We don't beat Shuri She-Hulk. That I did not consider. So we're going to lose some cubes for that one. Yeah, I did not think about Shuri She-Hulk. That's a pretty good play on the final turn there. So we've now put ourselves in a rough spot. Now it is 3 health to 4 health. Okay, okay. One more high-stakes round. This is a really good hand to start the game off with. Ooh, Project Pegasus. I think we just snap and see if my opponent wants to play it. This is kind of a bluff. But I guess it doesn't matter. I guess snapping here is always terrible for us now that I look at it for one more second. Snapping might be terrible because now we lose. Okay, they leeched us. I played these cards in the wrong order as well. Oh, Shuri's Lab. Come on. So I don't actually like stacking Bishop on Angela and giving myself one big location. I like splitting them up, but I should have played the Bishop first. Turn 1 Leech, it's hard for them to retreat for, but I should never have snapped there because we always... If we win, or if we lose... I don't know. You know what I'm saying here. We could have lost this game for 2. But now that we're losing the game for 3, that is awkward. They always have the turn 3 Sauron. Every single time. Alright, they're going to play something big into Shuri's Lab here. They're going to have a doubled up Typhoid Mary. Next turn, we get to play Magic and turn off the Shuri's Lab. Yeah, without priority here. Wait, do we still have priority? Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness we have priority and can shut off the Shuri's Lab. I still think that we lose. But at the very least, we can do this, and we don't just immediately lose to a 60 power Red Skull. Though... they are set up very well to Arnim Zola us this game. At the very least, we don't just auto-lose, though. We're gonna lose this location. We have to win this location. So they're gonna play some stuff to Hell's Kitchen here, and then they're gonna try to Arnim Zola this Red Skull on the final turn. And we need to draw Iron Man. Oh, they're going for the Arnim Zola now. Okay, fair enough. Oh, that gives them the possibility to win in Limbo, too. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. But I don't think that we have much of a play other than to do this, which means my opponent only has to play a She-Hulk or something into Limbo. And they win. So we messed up. Should not have snapped. I thought maybe we could bully them out with Project Pegasus. This deck is such a good Project Pegasus deck, though with a turn 1 Leech, I don't think you're ever retreating there. Let's see. Did they play to Hell's Kitchen? They did play a little bit to Hell's Kitchen, but so did we. We also played to Hell's Kitchen. Bummer. Bummer. Okay, so they're going to win in Hell's Kitchen. We're going to win Limbo, and we are going to be defeated. GG's there, Super Tech God. We definitely got outplayed in this match. No question about that. Yeah, this deck that my opponent is playing I also think is really good. We finally saw the Arnim Zola and the Arrow. Both of these cards were saved for the very last game, so that's pretty cool as well, to hang on to some Super Tech for the end of it. But that was fun.